Welcome back to another hour of Scotch Hour. I'm Noah.
And I'm Jesse.
All right, this is episode 189. This evening, we are going to review the Oban 2024 special release. Then we'll do our get-togethers or shout-outs, if you will. And then our restaurant review being the Black Eyed Pea. And then our Smarter Challenge, the F1 race party that we held for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And a short review of the movie Heretic. So real quickly, thank you to all of our new subscribers on YouTube and Rumble. We greatly appreciate your support. If this is the first time you're watching us, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave some comments down below. We love to hear from you. And to all the many different listeners out there on the different podcast platforms that you can listen to us, we greatly appreciate your support as well. So please keep sharing our content if you like what we do.
Scotch Reviewed.
All right, well, what a treat this week has been. The Oban 10-year special release 2024 Scotch up for review. A few quick things about the Oban distillery. Otherwise, please revisit our previous podcast to learn more. It was founded in 1974 by John and Hugh Stevenson. It's in the town of the same name. The town popped up after the distillery did and popped up in that craggy harbor around it. The water source is 2 lochs of Ardconnell, and we know how coveted every one of these great distilleries is about their water sources. They have 1 spirit still, 1 wash still, putting on a maximum capacity of 670,000 liters per year. Interestingly enough, for such a well-known and beautiful distillery, that's one of the smaller distilleries in Scotland. Known for some of its scotches, including the Little Bay, the 14-year, 18-year, 21-year, and 32-year statements, as well as their special releases, and often a distiller's edition. It is currently owned by Diageo and has been for a little while now, and they are the ones who put out these wonderful expressions for us to enjoy. The Oban 10-year 2024 special release was first aged in ex-Oloroso sherry casks and then finished in newly charred oak barrels that were freshly seasoned with Oloroso sherry. Creates some great complexity, possibly some apple pie hints and other things in there. But we are very excited for this cask strength. 58% ABV Oban. And again, the Oban distillery is a Highland single malt scotch right there off the coast, less than 300 feet or steps away from the sea. As we open up this beautifully floral canister, man, exciting. They do note the sweet spice apple and sea salted vanilla as 2 of their key notes. We did open this during our F1 party, and we'll review the statements and tasting notes that some of our participants were willing to give. So the foil has already been pulled, but I will say the foil tore beautifully, well perforated, and revealing a solid wood top. And after the solid wood top, we do have the pressed cork. Oh, on the nose immediately, even after it was freshly opened. This is a beautiful dram.
As one of the last I'm calling them the lost files, but they're really not lost. It's the ones I haven't done in a while. But working on one of them. We call this living life one dram at a time, or one large dram at a time.
It's true. We do tend to enjoy life one large dram at a time.
All right. Well, with that, on to, I guess, our tasting notes and warp speed. So cheers.
Cheers.
All right, this, well, if you guys have watched this for any period of time, you probably know that Oban is my favorite distillery, and they've never let me down. I love the usually the maritime or the sea influence that Oban has in their scotches. And honestly, they did not let me down with this 2024 special release. I loved it. I think it's great. To start off with the package, like personally, the flowers or whatever, not my thing. But here's what I have to say about it. It does remind me of the Impressionist era in art. I'm not really sure if that's like Monet or not, but that's kind of like that's kind of what it reminds me of, just like of how the flowers were done or that pattern. And it is actually really nice. It is appealing to the eye, and it looks great. I really actually love it more, not on the canister, but I really love it more on the label itself. Which I do think is really great looking on there. I think it matches well with the bottle and the color of the scotch. So I did give that a 5 out of 5 on the presentation. The color is kind of weird because if you're looking at it in Jesse's hand there as he's holding up the bottle while I'm talking, it looks much darker than what it does in the glass. So I'm looking at in the glass here for my color. I put Sun-Kissed Summer Blonde is what I put as the color. I thought it's a great looking color. It does have a slight hue of amber in there, which is just, it's nice. I really like it. It's very pleasant to the eye. Now going to the nose. Oh, sorry. The color, 5 out of 5. I'm not sure if I said that or not, but anyways, the nose. Here I put Midsummer Sea Breeze on a pier with whiffs of apple pie, cinnamon, and vanilla with slight hints of oak. So just imagine yourself, just like on, like, I don't know, maybe like Navy Pier there in Chicago, or there on in Atlantic City, or anywhere like on the coastline. And just walking down the pier, and you walk by a place where not only you getting like the whiffs like like in the evening time, right, where it's starting to cool off a little bit, and you're getting like the sea breeze coming in off the ocean, and you're getting that nice maritime smell from the ocean there. But then you're walking past a bakery that has just cooked some freshly baked apple pie, and you get that hint of that apple cinnamon from the filling of that pie. And then right next to that place might be like an ice cream shop where you can maybe I don't know, get like I almost get like a hint of vanilla from the ice cream shop. But if you just can imagine like walking right by that, like that bakery, and then getting like a hot apple pie, then putting like that scoop of vanilla ice cream there on your plate, and that starts melting, you can see like all those flavors melding together there while you're outside, maybe on the pier, just eating that a wonderful traditional American apple pie there. That's what this reminds me of as far as the nose is concerned. But it also has like a nice every once in a while you get a nice whiff of the nice mild oak, probably from that American oak, or possibly even the Oloroso sherry. I did love it. I gave it a 27 out of 30 though. It probably might have deserved a 28, but it's a great nose. But 27 is what I ended up on. Palate. Here I put creamy vanilla with burnt orange peels, hints of lemon, and then possible apple filling. So like apple pie filling from obviously from a pie, which might cause like the initial sweetness I get on my tongue. Jesse made a good point here that there might be like it might be a combination of like cinnamon and cereal or nutmeg and cereal. I can definitely possibly sign off on that as far as me and my own taste buds. He'll probably explain that a little bit better than I ever could. But I honestly, I didn't put that in my notes here because I was really kind of unsure of what's causing this extra sweetness on the palate for me, and I just I copped that one with apple pie because I got apple pie stuck in my head here. So, but in any case, the palate here I gave it a 27 out of 30. But as all these flavors from the palate start to dissipate going into the finish, you get a nice spiciness that I kind of correlate to like the holiday baking spices of being nutmeg and cinnamon. You get like I'm gonna say like a slight burn. That's for me, my palate, because we all know like maybe sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of cinnamon in my scotches, and so here, like I said, I think this might be causing a slight burn there. Or might be the 50-some-odd% ABV though too. I'm not really sure, but anyways, I get these like the holiday baking spices and after those spices start to dissipate, I get a nice flavor of lingering vanilla with maritime notes and oak, and it's so great, that lingering finish. The body of the Scotch is it's like medium to long, and even though I said it was vanilla creamy on the palate, it does leave more like an oily film in your mouth, which it's not bad. It's actually really nice. But anyways, the finish I also gave that 27 out of 30 points. My grand total is 91 points. I think all Obans have a spot on your shelf, so I don't even really have to explain that part here. So definitely this has a spot on your shelf. Game night, with being a special release, well, I guess I can't say I wouldn't share it on a game night because we did share it on a game night, kind of. We shared it at an F1 party, so yes, I guess I would share it at a game night with. But I also think it depends on what kind of like who you're sharing it with, though, too. Black tie affair, yeah, definitely. I would take it to a black tie affair. I think Oban is worthy of black tie, and I think the presentation is nice on it too. So if you can find a bottle of this special release, I highly suggest that you purchase it. I think you'll like it, and just be careful though when you first open it up because it is 50 some odd ABV. It might be slightly bit spicy, but you want to, like, if you give it a little bit of time to breathe, I think you'll love what you taste.
It is amazing. Right there with the presentation. Well, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. It is dynamite. I want a pocket square. I want this canister printed on silk and a pocket square for a future Oban show. Absolutely amazing presentation, very colorful. I as well love the Impressionist era painting, somewhat modernized because it goes into this different graphic realm right on the edge of the canister. But I love the bottle and I love the canister. The color for me, man, this is a sexy Olympic liquid gold. That is the color for me. Choose your sport. I don't even care. This is sexy Olympic liquid gold. It's just absolutely fantastic. 5 out of 5 on the color. The nose. Man, the nose is actually grown on me from the first night, but I'm sticking with my original score. You get I get fresh maritime air, some oak, a little bit of a smoky vanilla, and it's a very mild smoke. It's very inviting. Orange, the lemon. I love the way the lemon kicks in, almost pungent, like a cleaning lemon. Baked apple, very delicate in many of these scents, but there is a very delicate hint of nutmeg, sweetened cinnamon, not like a cinnamon that stings, but the sweetened sugary cinnamon, the kind you put on some toast, or the kind that's on some chewing gum. It is fantastic. For me, the nose, a 27 out of 30. The palate, oh man, this is, I have to drink it before I can say it again. The palate is seductively thick and creamy. There is smoked orange peel, lemon, a little hint of a nutmegged cereal, vanilla, sea salt, and oak. And a little bit of that Oloroso oak. Oak is what I'm talking about there. It's not just oak, but it's Oloroso seasoned oak. The palate is a 28, something that I just want to keep drinking. The palate does go from super sweet and creamy to a finish. The palate, again, a 28. The finish, also a 28. The finish is more dry. I think it's got, a medium to thick body and a long finish, which I love. The peppery spice comes out in the finish. The oak and more mild cinnamon with that oak, that drying effect. Total for me, a 93. Black tie event, absolutely. Game night, yes. Spot on shelf, hell yes. Again, a 93 for me. I think it is absolutely fantastic. We got some notes here from a couple of our visitors. Adam, God damn it, man. Practice your writing skills. But presentation, the shape is sexy. Color, caramelized. Nose, smoke. And it just says nose. This nose is the nose you'd get if caramel had sex with maple syrup. Palate, smooth. And finish. Wow. So thank you for your time and notes, Adam. And then I'll mention everyone's name, or you want to keep others quiet?
I don't know who wrote all of these, so.
All right.
I can kind of sort of guess, but I'm not really sure. I know the two that you have.
All right. Well, another one here.
You can probably say his name.
Torin? Yeah. Torin wouldn't mind. All right. So his basic note, flawless is only a good time. Flawless, it is only a good time. Presentation, floral renaissance, purposeful meaninglessness of an unfolding, blossoming bud, firm and grounded in the earth, shapely curves, burgeoning buds, textured and sensual. The color, enticing, beckoning color, gentle gold, whisper, sap, light-kissed amber, skipping in sunbeams. Nose, intriguing tendrils of smoky, sweet earth. Beckoning punches of particular pounce. Playful pussycat, bouncing yarn ball of smell. Playful pussycat, bouncing, pondering, powerful tonight. Not exactly sure what that means. He does. So on the presentation, a 4.5. The color, a 4. The nose, a 25. The palate, a 26. Hugging the tongue in twisted sophistication. Center rolling hills filled with rocky, rugged clogs. Taste the beautiful wisdom of barrels. Gushing muddle water filtered through cultural grains. Finally, a finish of 27. Simmering, scalding, crashing waves across the skipping stone brain, bubbling peak swamp sweetness, cleansing connection, crab pinch, peaky punch. And he gave it an extra 5 points just for fun. Open up the heart and mind by indulging a malt brain blood flow. 32 plus 26 would be 64, plus 25 would be 89, plus another 8 would be 96.5 because of the bonus points.
96.5 because of the bonus.
All right.
That's pretty good. Well, I'll start. I'll be like you and start with the ones who did not give any score. I assume these are from Michelle and Cherie. I'm not really positive, but I do know they fill out forms. There's no names on there. So one says, when it comes to presentation, the canister has a feminine appeal, luxury. I'm not sure if it says luxury tier and seems like a thick. Anyways, I'll just go canister has a feminine appeal. Color, honey, butterscotchy. The nose is intoxicating from the scent, clarifying. Palette is they put burn and it kicks. Finish is it sustains and memorable. Any additional thoughts? Glitters, nice winter.
I got you a quick correction. I added the 5 twice. Torrens was a 91.5, not a 96.5.
Okay, 91.5. It's going to be important because Loopy did a point scale too. So these are our guests have come to multiple Scotch tastings that we've done. And I think the ones who follow are kind of like our normal point scales closest. All right, so here's the other person. It says, canister makes me think of Monet. Wood topper is thick and...
like the thick wood.
Like it would flow easily. Color. Reminds me of sunflowers, deep colored sun-kissed tan. Nose. Sensational scent. Palette. Lingers. Woody. Reminds me of the forest. Smooth but intense. Finish. They said Noah. I love the knowledge of the presenters, Noah and Jesse. Lots of passion. And then any additional thoughts? Fancy. Love the moment of smelling and tasting. And here's the thing for Michelle and Cherie. They are two of my cousins. They don't drink Scotch. They don't drink whiskey at all. They mostly drink wine, and that's pretty much about it. So to say that from our presentation at the F1 party that convinced them to speak, to taste it, I'm sure they liked it a lot. So, or convinced them to do that. So that's a big thing. All right. So if you guys are hearing me better now, that's because I was on mute half the time talking about mine, but I will adjust that volume. So hopefully you guys, it wasn't too much of a hiccup. All right. So for Loopy, she gave this a total of 94 points. The way she broke down is presentation was 5 points. It says the box is so beautiful. I want a summer dress with that design. The shape of the bottle is very feminine and complements the box. Solid wood topper. The color, she gave 5 points. The color is a beautiful blonde, like a dreamy, lazy, sunny day. The nose, she gave it 27 points. With the Glencairn glass, she says it's overwhelmingly smells like boozy vanilla. I don't know what that means, but that's what it
I know what
like.
she means.
And
she's right. Smell it out of your big glass. No, thinking of the term boozy vanilla.
She said it was on the small one, though. All right. And the big glass, floral. Palate, as soon as it hits my mouth, it is thick. In the middle, I can get the wood or cask flavor. The finish, as it goes down, I get the cinnamon in the back of the tongue and throat, and as I breathe in, the drink gets hints of smoke. And then any additional thoughts? This Oban has a lingering, heady nose, and after letting it sit, I now detect spicy cinnamon. It wasn't there for me at the beginning. Also, in the bigger glass, after it was sitting out for some time, maybe 20 minutes, the Oban was creamier and it had a hint of orange in it. So there you go. Some of the people we invited over for our F1 party, they got to try this Oban with us, which was I thought it was a fun experience. I don't know about you.
Absolutely, always.
And it seemed like they really loved, I'm going to say, Jesse's presentation. And the reason why I'm saying that is because he's the one who normally does like the presentation of the distilleries in general. So it makes sense that he does it all the time. So thank you for doing that. I thought you did a great job.
Thank you.
It's time for our shout outs.
Well, not one quick thing and it can be part of the get togethers or shout outs. I guess ultimately it could be a shout out. Man, our food for this F1 party was on point. And we kept it simple. We didn't go all out, balls to the walls.
We actually didn't serve everything either.
We didn't do squat. It was still on point. So we did a fajita / burrito, which I don't think not one person made a burrito / nacho bar. And it appeared everyone ate well and enjoyed every minute of it. So we did well. Your beef barbacoa, your barbacoa seasoned beef was divine.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We'll put that in the shout out section there.
I think so too.
So likewise, shout out to you, like I said, for the presentation. And also, I do agree. We did a great job on the food. All right. I do have one get it together, though.
All right. What's your get it together?
This one just hit my radar recently. I didn't see it back in early February 2024. But apparently, Denver is allowing non-citizens to be police officers.
I had not seen that one either. I knew they were giving them our tax dollars, but I didn't realize they were giving them our tax dollars as police officers.
Yeah. So here's the thing: how can police in America be non-citizens? That they don't know our Constitution. They really don't know our laws, and when it comes time to, and sorry to say it, but we got a new president, and now this new president is saying all the illegals have to go. What is going to happen with this mayor and these police officers that are not U.S. citizens? The mayor's a U.S. citizen, but I'm talking about the police officers that are not U.S. citizens. It's going to come to a head with not only Denver being a liberal city that is a sanctuary city. The new Tom Holman or whatever his name is, Holman. Oh, sorry, I got the name wrong. I'm not going to look it up. But anyways, he's like the new head guy for the border control. He ain't playing around. He's going to arrest people. He doesn't care if you're a U.S. citizen or not. But if you're keeping on to these people, he's going to arrest you too. And I don't think he's necessarily wrong, because if you're violating federal law, you're violating federal laws. You're doing something illegal.
It's an interesting change in America and Colorado.
Yeah. Here's the one thing. I don't agree with making non-citizens police officers. I think it has to be a citizen.
Well, I would think you'd have to be a citizen to be receiving tax dollars as payment.
I agree with that too. I'm just saying, I have nothing against, people are people, right? Everyone deserves to have a good life or whatever, as long as they work for it. But they
Here's the question: where's their accountability? They are ultimately migrant mercenaries. And if they're found guilty of a crime, we deport them, but we can't actually incarcerate them?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Anyways, that was my one get it together. It didn't hit my radar back in February, but it hit my radar this the other day. And I just felt like I had to share that.
I got two more quick shout outs.
Oh, okay.
Verstappen, F1 champion 2024.
How did I miss that one? That was like a total layup.
Or maybe you went for the 3-pointer.
It missed.
And then also, I want to give a shout out to my work team. We don't talk about work on the podcast because it's not right. But we all have been facing a lot of adversity and dealing with a lot of change because of that adversity. Things and changes at work, temporary or long term, who the heck knows? But with the temporary changes, there's been a lot of changes. And I love change, but I know not everyone does. So thank them for putting up with all of my change. My only get it together this week. All right, this is all rumorville right now. There are no facts, right? And I'm sure that there's a way to hide it because that's what they can do. But Kamala Harris's campaign fund spending $20 million over what they had raised, therefore being potentially $20 million in debt for a losing campaign. $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion, and you still overspend $20 million. You raise $1.5 billion, and you,
It's all those celebrities she's paying
dude,
off.
it's just crazy. Like, what? Think about all the good Taylor Swift could have done with her donations, as opposed to throwing them away.
Did you hear what Trump said though? This was
No.
like a week ago
Nah.
when it first came out. I think he said that he would cover her her debt.
I appreciate that, Trump.
trying to like bridge the gap and make peace.
I appreciate that. But more so, I'm going to go back to, like, just take Taylor Swift's donation. What kind of good could all of that money have gone to? All right, this week's restaurant review, kind of a shocker, if you will, the Black Eyed Pea.
Sorry. The brown eyed pea.
Restaurant in Parker, Colorado.
Black eyed pea. Black
Eyed Pea Restaurant, Parker, Colorado. All right. Well, you want to go first? Or you want me to keep it rolling?
Sure. All right, real quickly.
You want number one or number two?
Outside parking lot. This is another one of those places where you can only really access it going in one direction. So the parking lot itself wasn't too bad. The access is what's kind of bad. I think they could probably use a little bit more lighting on the outside. But anyways, overall, I gave the outside a 6. There was no potholes. The parking spaces are large enough. So I have like no super complaints there. Just better access and maybe like make the parking lot a little bit more lit because I don't know. I guess from working retail in the past, or you don't want women who are single by themselves walking out in dark parking spot, parking lots and stuff. What?
Nothing.
Am I wrong in that?
No.
You can probably tell me later. Anywho,
You don't want women in dark parking lot.
or maybe you do want women in dark parking lots. So I give that 6 points. Inside, from what I remember of Black Eyed Pea way a long time ago, probably like in the 90s, because that was like the last time I ever went to one. I did not like the inside. I did not like the food. It had like a southern type of motif to it. But yet, when we went there this time, the inside was actually as modernized. It looked nice. It had like more of an open concept than what I remember it having previously. So I actually enjoyed it. So I gave that 7 out of 8 points. The food, actually, as I mentioned before, I hated the food before. Initially I thought we were going to go here, have the food, and I thought we were going to have a good time ripping this place to shreds. Boy, was I wrong. I ended up the reason why I suggested the place because I had been craving potato skins, and so we went there. I ordered some potato skins for appetizers. Those were phenomenal. They had like a lot of the potato meat in there. It wasn't like they scooped out the potato meat at all. You had the bacon and the cheese, and I'm not sure if they probably had some other toppings in there. But then they also gave us some dips. So we got buffalo sauce as well as ranch. And honestly, the best combo was the ranch with barbecue sauce mixed together on the potato skins. I really did like it with just the ranch only. But like those potato skins, that hit the spot. Like I could have just had that for dinner and just been done, and would have given this place a great score for the food. But I did order the green chili mac and cheese bowl, which was huge because it also came with a side, and I got the loaded tater tots as well, which was like another thing like both Jesse and I enjoy. We both like loaded tater tots, and like the loaded tater tots are great, and the mac and cheese green chili had a great flavor, nice and cheesy. If you know anything about Colorado or New Mexico green chili, it's not like anywhere else in the United States or anywhere else in the world, but it had great flavor. It had great green chili flavor along with the cheesy mac and cheese. I loved it. It was great. and I gave the food a 9. I really the food was great, and the service. Here the service was I don't know. It was kind of a toss up for me. I didn't really know if I should give it a bad score or a good score because I was sitting away from our waitress, so I couldn't see everything that was happening with her and why she freaked out when the other waitress brought us our potato skins. But here's the thing: is as Jesse had, even as him and I were talking about it, we weren't waiting for anything. We weren't like stressed about our food or stressed about getting refills or anything like that. So I gave the service a 7. Now the value, I gave that an 8 because like the mac and cheese bowl was like I think like $15 or $16. The potato skins I think were like another $10. I thought for what you got and the portion size, because the portion size was pretty big. I had to take mine home. Jesse had to take his home. So I actually got 2 meals out of it. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So I gave that a value of an 8. And I think my numbers might be wrong because I gave it a 6 plus a 7 because I'm doing math here on my calculator because I don't do math. So
7.6.
7.2, and I had 7.2. For some reason, I thought it was wrong, but it's 7.2. I wanted to recheck it because like I was looking at my score. I'm like, that doesn't seem right, but apparently it is right. Is it a destination spot? Oh, I almost want to say yes, but I'm going to still say no. Would I take a date there? If she's like 60 years old.
Literally, that's what I said. Date if she's 50 plus.
So here's the thing: like when we went there, it was like a bunch of old people, not too many young people there. So I don't know. I guess you could take a date there. It's not the worst place to take a date, but in the area, there's other places you probably would want to go. That might be a little bit more have more youth and more upbeat. But still the environment was decent. Would I meet a friend there? Yeah, I definitely would meet a friend there. And I do want to go back because I definitely want to try their shepherd's pie. So overall, I thought it was a great place. I enjoyed it. Excuse me. Much better than what I remembered it.
All right, mic's on now. All right. As Noah mentioned,
The bird came out of nowhere.
well, it came out of somewhere.
Yeah, the burp did come out of somewhere. I just didn't mean the burp right there, so I'm gonna have to take that out, or just leave it in because now it's the
Just
thing.
leave it in. Now it's a thing. All right, as Noah mentioned, we started with the potato skins, and they were delicious. They were also substantial, which was fantastic because they were delicious. But then at the end of the day, they were so substantial that afterwards I could barely eat my meal. But I went with the buffalo mac and cheese. We had some marinara grilled chicken breast chopped and cubed on top with blue cheese, crumbles, and buffalo sauce. It was delicious. It was absolutely amazing. Also got the loaded tots, also delicious, perfectly cooked, amazing. I was able to eat probably about half of my dish. The other half I brought home. I cooked 4 hours later that night after a workout, and it was also still delicious. Even the tots, which is also amazing. So for me, the outside, it's a little interesting. The parking lot, we were there not at a busy, crazy time, so I do wonder what it would be like if it was a rush hour, because there's so many different restaurants and little businesses that are funneling through the Circle Drive and its fingers of driveways. But altogether, I gave the outside a 7, the inside also a 7. It was nice, not sexy, but nice. The service was good. Never was wanting or waiting. The only thing I would say is she was not necessarily engaging. Food, for me, the food was a 10. I could not have gotten better food for what I was looking for that night. I ordered something. I got exactly what I ordered. Delicious. So fantastic. Overall, the value because of the other piece is also a 7. So my total score is 7.6. Would I meet a friend there? Absolutely. Would I take a date there? Has mentioned. Most likely only if she's 50 plus. However, it is not currently a destination. This week's Smarter Challenge, Heretic movie review starring Hugh Grant, Sophie Thatcher, and Chloe East.
And the F1 party.
And the F1 party.
What do you want to start off with?
Man, you chose this. Anything you want to start off with? I mean, ultimately, it's a 2024 American psychological horror film written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. I don't know if I didn't do a ton of research to see if they had worked together previously, but I greatly enjoyed this particular movie.
I enjoyed it as well. I thought it brought to light, and I think Grant's character talks about this, the two girls, Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, which is Sister Barnes and Sister Paxton. They're LDS members, or for those people who don't know what LDS, they're Mormons, and they're sister missionaries. And this is part of the reason why I wanted to see this movie, because I lived in Utah for a while, and it's kind of funny because it's. When they get there, it's cold, or I think it's snowing now at the point when they get to Grant's house.
It had started raining, but by the time they realized they wanted to leave, it was snowing. Mr. Reed.
Yeah. But they were not supposed to. They're not supposed to go in any house or if they're talking to a potential person that they want to try to convert or potential convert. They cannot go into a house or be alone with a male person unless there's another female there. So it has to be 3 females. So it just can't be the 2 sisters.
And they broke the rule right off the bat.
So here's the thing. I don't know if I've known some sister missionaries from my time living in Utah. None of them, as far as I knew, ever broke that rule. I'm not Mormon, but I knew a lot of Mormons. But none of them that I knew ever broke that rule. They were all very, because they've tried to, I met with them and had their talks and stuff. But in any case, I wanted to see how they're going to handle that part of the LDS. And then Grant, I'm not sure if he was a professor or just someone who was really into theology, but he did some extensive work with theology to try to find, God, if you will, or religion in itself. And he poses a lot of challenging questions to them. And so those questions that you can tell those questions kind of push their limit there. And one of them, and here's one thing I will note, Tate, is that knowing some of the people who are LDS who were on missions, they are very driven to get converts to be baptized, and so you get that push right there from Sister Paxton, because she had not gotten a baptism yet, so she's really eager to try to get Mr. Reed as a person to be baptized, and so I think that's the reason why they probably broke that cardinal rule that they weren't supposed to break.
Yeah, that and the fact that he had lied to them and said, "Oh, she's come right in out of the rain. She'll be right over."
Yeah, I mean, when he's saying she, he's talking about his wife, because he said his wife is baking was it blueberry pies?
Blueberry, well, yeah. It's the blueberry candle.
It's the blueberry candle. But in any case, ultimately, he challenges them. They can't leave the house. He challenges them to their faith about they believer or the unbeliever. They have to go through 1 or 2 doors, and he thinks he's found the key to the afterlife, or to God, if you will.
The one true religion.
The one true religion, yeah. And And this is where it gets really interesting. Because honestly, like, when I saw the previews, I thought they were going to have to go through a maze of a bunch of trials. But no, they had like this. Spoiler alert. They had like this girl who basically takes poison and kills herself, and then anyways, like another girl like replaces her and stuff like that to say like she came back to life. But ultimately, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know where to go here. Yeah, we're kind of like summarizing the movie.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a basic, simple plot. They go to Mr. Reed's house, played by Grant, and he coerces and convinces them they can come in. He then locks them into the house and starts a ritualistic challenge or game, as he poises it, pointing out different pieces of some real history, some not. And creates an environment where, as mentioned, we've got the timid sister Barnes and the confident sister Barnes and the timid sister Paxton, and he's challenging them, and Barnes is very quick to challenge back. She has some answers because she's lived some different pieces of life, and it makes it fun, but then ultimately, as she has decided and realized, anytime something goes estranged from his plan, he does lose some of his cool and his own confidence, and then is found fumbling to recover. They go through a maze, essentially, of a house to get out, and then ultimately the question is, really, what is their ending?
So, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Sister Barnes, either she's a convert or her mom is a convert, and so basically, she didn't really grow up in the church totally, 100%. Whereas Sister Paxton,
right,
she had that naivete of being like a person who grew up LDS. And I don't know if you ever like come across people who grew up LDS in Utah. They are kind of like, I don't know. They're like sheeps to the slaughter when it comes to the outside world. Sometimes like, gifted, not around like other LDS people. Like you can tell like they like, yeah, it's just like the real world versus like what they grew up in, that Salt Lake bubble is quite a bit different.
Well, it's an interesting perspective. Halfway through this movie, I'm like, where is this going? Like, why is this guy trying to prove that like there is no God? There is no real God. And it's interesting because Sister Barnes, Sophie Thatcher's character, is very strong and confident. And I think that's the right word, and confident in challenging him on all different pieces. And he starts going through different religions and explaining the history that he knows. She is the one at a point of trying to distract him, that starts pointing out all of the flaws and misconceptions that he has shared as far as he's, comparing Buddhism and Hinduism and, the Jewish religion. And he's challenging why are there so few Jews on this planet? And he's like, la, 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 it's because they don't push it. They're not salesmen like Mormons. And he pushes that piece. And it's very interesting because she's very, very smart and tactically challenges back that, well, did you ever consider the Holocaust? Did you consider X or Y or Z? And it was a brilliant display of her actual knowledge, tearing apart his ideal theology, which preyed upon ignorance. However, she was not that ignorant. She also had clearly studied the other religions, talking about different pieces. The whole thing starts because he's challenging the Mormon religion based on, well, how do you guys feel about a man having multiple wives? And isn't it convenient that all of a sudden someone can be a prophet or something and get a comment from God, but it's always how did they receive that comment from God? And is it really just a convenience of he was having an affair and he wanted to make that okay because he wanted to sleep with other women? So all of a sudden it was okay to have other wives. He makes a great point right there. And I actually think he's probably 100% right with that piece. But then as he goes further in, that's where he loses his strength because he starts getting more and more loose with his interpretation and comparisons of the other religions.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think he coming down to it, and this is, I guess I'm going to ask you, like, what do you actually think about his ultimate conclusion about religion? That the one true religion is control. Did I get that right? It was control.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's been like 2 weeks since I seen it, or like a week and a half. So I just want to make sure.
I think that the ultimate. Here's where that itself is ignorant, but not wrong. Because religion, theoretically, is there to create controls in place. This is good. This is bad. You're going to get in trouble. You won't go to heaven. You can live forever if you follow my word, because you will die, but you'll come back because you'll go to the afterlife. It was very interesting. But I really wish that they had gone a different direction, because he's like, what's the difference between belief or disbelief? You get to choose a door and you have to go down one of these doors and they both end up at the same place, which ultimately is in the ground. Like, there's a lot of great metaphors they don't even comment on in the movie, probably trying to keep it a shorter movie so they didn't lose the audience's attention. And what they never really delved into was the simple fact of faith.
They didn't really talk about faith.
And that was the one thing where I lost, because at the end of the movie, I loved it. But what I would say is there's two different doors. You can choose either door, belief or disbelief. And that's the route you're going to go through with life. It doesn't matter. Because only you can sway you. And at the end of the day, it's your faith or lack thereof. It's a faith or a lack thereof that will guide you to the end. And at the end of the day, anyone who challenges my code or my beliefs, my practices, I don't even care. I have my faith, and I would say my faith particularly in my code and why I do what I do, the right versus the wrong. And those who don't have it typically don't have the same code. Typically, I think, are less morally bound, interestingly enough, because they tend to avoid negative consequences, which is exactly what they're saying about the Bible. However, typically, people who are very religious actually seek doing the right. They're not just trying to avoid a negative consequence by getting caught by doing something wrong. So it's super interesting to me, because at the end of the movie, I interpreted it very simply. You go into this movie, and people, I think, were afraid to go in and be like, oh, this one's going to try to convince me that God isn't real, or this is going to try to convince me that God is real. It's Mormon, it's X, Y, or Z. At the end of the movie, I just really was just saying, all this movie does is anyone who goes in comes out, and if you're changed, you had no side to begin with, because if this is a movie that helps you choose a side, then that is an interesting perspective. You probably have just not been educated in certain aspects, but otherwise you go in and you come out, and if you didn't believe, you come out not believing, and if you did believe, you come out believing, or maybe if you go in not believing and you're a disbeliever, you come out disbelieving even more. If you're a believer, you come out believing there's even more. And at the end, for me, I'm like, I don't know what their whole purpose was. I have more questions than answers now. I actually love that about the movie. For example, when Chloe East's or Sister Paxton comes out of the house and she sees the butterfly come on her hand, what was your interpretation of that?
That was Sister Barnes?
Sister Barnes isn't the one who said she wanted to go visit people with the butterfly.
No, but Sister Barnes knows that's what she wanted.
Right. But that's not what Sister Barnes wanted.
It's not what Sister Barnes wanted, but I think because Sister Barnes saved her life, I thought that was kind of like her thinking that was Sister Barnes, which I don't know why a butterfly would be out there in the middle of a snowstorm anyways, to begin with.
That's the point.
But I think it was just Sister Barnes. Like my interpretation was that was Sister Barnes giving her like a nod of approval for escaping.
Or could it be Sister Paxton kissing its own life goodbye?
Could be.
Either way, it's definitely a religious statement.
A question that I had. Here's a question I had: is where do you get all these like women that are caged? Because I'm like, if they're LDS missionaries, I'm sure after like 2 or 3 sets of missionaries go missing, they're going to say like, don't go to this house anymore.
I don't think that's what he was doing at all. I think he was going around finding old homeless women and bringing
Maybe they're all homeless women, or even like they might have been Jehovah's Witnesses too. I have no idea, because like the only people I know that go around knocking on people's doors are either Jehovah's Witnesses or LDS missionaries. So, but yet he does like get them to a point to where he dominates and controls all these women, and they are sitting in cages and they're quiet. They don't like fight him on anything. I don't know. It's an interesting view, because I would say that for most people, either they believe or they have faith in God, or they don't have faith in God, and so they don't believe. And I think those who tend to have no faith or no belief in something greater than humans themselves could fall in the same kind of trap that he fell into, thinking that controlling others is the only faith that there is, or the only type of religion there is. I thought it was a great movie. It was entertaining, and yet had some thought-provoking ideas in there.
There were definitely some times I was the only one laughing in the theater, and I went to a late showing long after it came out, a week and a half after it came out, and the theater was like more than half full.
I'm surprised. I'm sure
people just kept rolling in. I'm like, what the fuck?
So, any case, just kind of we'll wrap that up. Like, ultimately, would you recommend people to see it?
I think it's a yes. I actually enjoyed the movie. I don't know if it's a movie you have to see necessarily in a movie theater. I don't know that it's a movie you have to see multiple times. But I did greatly enjoy the fact that it brings up some interesting perspectives for anyone to consider. Do you have faith? And that is, again, what my end takeaway was. Is the struggle with this movie is, and the reason that it's non-biased, because it doesn't selectively choose you do have faith or you don't, is because they don't go after faith. It's either you're a believer or you don't believer. But by avoiding using that word faith, I think they avoided the controversy of, is this movie religious or anti?
Good point there. I agree with you, and so I'm not going to go much further than that. Real quickly, since we're kind of running out of time here, F1 party. What'd you think?
It was a blast. It's always fun, though. Again, our food was a 10. The destination, yes. Service, even when they had to serve themselves, was still delivered a 10. It was fun. How about yourself? What do you think?
I thought it was a great time. I had a lot of fun. This time around, I think you did like the post-party cleanup, which I greatly appreciated because I did the last one. But any case, I think so. Shout out to you on that. I think a lot of people loved it. There's a couple of people came over who are F1 fans, some who were not F1 fans, but yet they showed up, they had a good time. They got to try a Scotch and learn about Scotch.
Great Scotch.
And honestly, like you said, like for as simple as we kept this one, it was a freaking hit.
It was, but I think that's something that you and I are both very good at. At least I pride myself upon it. Hopefully you do too, is that we learn and adapt. And after our last experience, which was also a great experience, we just learned and adapted. Okay, timelines. Let's get a few things. Let's not worry about prepping any food after they get here.
Yeah. So that's it for this week here. What's our topic for next week?
Next week's Smarter Challenge. Who can't be excited for this? Everyone must be excited. Gladiator 2 movie review.
All right, Gladiator 2. Done. We're doing it. All right. If you guys made this far, thank you very much for watching us or listening to us. So whichever medium that you chose to listen or watch us on. So thank you once again to our YouTube and Rumble viewers. We greatly appreciate all of you, and we greatly appreciate all the new subscribers we had on both the YouTube, Rumble, and on our audio platforms. If you please like, share, and subscribe, share our information, leave some comments. At least I will comment on some of those. Jesse sometimes does. But we'll comment to you. We want that interaction. We want to get to know what you guys want us to talk about, or if there's like scotches within reason that you want us to try. And if you're in the Denver metropolitan area and you're a fan, maybe you might be able to be eligible to come to one of our F1 parties in the future, or not. I don't know yet. But or to like a theater gathering we might have for like a big event like the Ballerina or something.
Got to do something big for the Ballerina. That
Oh,
is
yeah, we
definitely
got
a
to.
dress-up event.
Yeah. I'm throwing it out there right now. The Ballerina is going to be another theater rental that we're going to do. It's probably going to be the next one, I think, on our list. I think Top Gun Maverick was a hit. We probably should have done it for Abigail, honestly.
We didn't know how good Abigail was going to be.
Yeah,
though.
I
That
know.
was freaking phenomenal. We should have done it for Abigail.
All right, so I'm gonna pass over to Jesse so he can close us out. And have a great night.
All right. Remember, life is great. That does not mean it's always going to be easy. In fact, the more difficult times usually make the good times more rewarding. Drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Live life one dram at a time.
Live one dram at a time.
And hopefully you go enjoy that Gladiator 2 movie for our next review. Until next week. Scotchman! Cheers.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a Patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.